Uh-oh. I can't see him.
How about now?
Oh my goodness. Are you like wearing a green shirt?
I'm coming live to you from Earth to Kentucky's Rugs.
Let's just, I can't even like take you seriously. I have to look down and ask you a question. Start laughing. So tell us who you are and what you do and where we can find you.
I'm Figure Fettish, and my website is www.figurefettish.com, and that's fetish with 2 T's like Boba Fett. If you use one, you're going to go to a totally different site. But you might be into that too. So nothing wrong with that.
You know, at least you didn't tell us your name was Xenu and like you're going to do the whole interview in character. Dan Goodsell. Let's talk about this thing, because I saw this on Instagram. You did it as a t-shirt design, and then my response
started out as a sticker.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was wanting to learn this app called GIMP. It's like a open source Photoshop, and I just developed this project for myself, and I was going to do this mashup between Jar Jar Binks and Banksy, and then I turned into a sticker. Then it became a shirt, and like you said, the next thing was a figure.
I mean, just the natural progression.
Exactly.
So, how did you Figure Fetish looks like a Star Trek villain? Awesome. Oh man. So how did you start out in this? How'd you get to here?
That's a weird story. I can't type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one night I was doing a Google search. This is around.
Sorry to interrupt you. Ian was in the other room, and he just walked in the room. He looked at you, and he just walked back out. That's great. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't type. Just to be clear, you still can't type?
No, I still can't type.
I mean, do your fingers not work? Or, I mean, you can like...
There's no body there.
I just can't. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I mean, you type.
Yeah, I was doing
you texted me.
Yeah, I was doing a Google search one night, and I was looking up something about Star Wars. And this is around like 2009 and 2011, and I was typing in Star Wars, and I didn't get it right. And Google said, "Did you mean Star Warseers?" And I'm like, whoa, what is that? That means if they're suggesting it means it's something. So I clicked on it, and I found these figures. It was like a set of 3, and at the time I thought it was only by one artist, Brad McGittney, and but I later found out that it was a collab with him and Battle Babies. And then
Brad McGinty.
Yeah.
Glorp Gum.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so I found the Wise Puppet, and I didn't really know what it was. And
that was his Yoda figure?
Yes.
I want one of those. Man, I've contacted him. I'm like, can I get one of those? And then I saw one on eBay, and then I missed it, and I'm sad. Okay, go on.
I'm still trying to find the other 2 to the set because I'm a completist. So, but yeah, I saw this figure, and I was like, didn't really know what it was, and I was like, oh, I had to have it. So I spent like $40-$50 or something like that, and I get it, and I'm like, what the heck did I spend my money on? And I had already had some exposure to designer toys through this shop in Baltimore called Atomic Pop, which is today called Atomic Books. And they had a lot of designer toys like Kid Robot, Dunnies, Ron English, and Kozik pieces. And so I was getting some exposure there. And they also carried zines, and I was kind of into zines, and I really liked the aesthetics of them. And that's what drew me to this figure. Is it reminded me of like a zine, because this is a bagged and headered figure, and the header looked like something like a crudely printed a zine. And so, I started doing more research, and I looked up like Star Wars bootlegs, which is totally something else. But I came across killer bootlegs, and then I started collecting his items, and then led me to Dead Greedy, and so from there, yeah, I decided I kind of wanted to do this myself, and in a conversation with Dead Greedy was like, yeah, go for it, and so so that's where I'm at.
And the rest is history. And
Yeah.
then you said your first year at Designer Con was what year?
Let's see. I think we've done that 3 times. So
2016.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, yeah.
Got it. And you said that the selection of figures you had there were the first ones you made.
Not exactly. I had made it.
Mhm.
I had started when I started out making figures.
Mhm.
I did this whole like a Ebola thing. So I'm starting to. How I learned was looking at what other people were doing and following like art trends, and
Mhm.
I noticed that if you could put a Boba Fett head on anything, it would become popular. So I did this whole like a Ebola figure line. That's where I made the Ebola Bin Laden, but also made a Ebola Fett. And it was a crazy figure. It looked like the Ebola strand body, but it had a Fett head on it, and it was more about the packaging than it was the figure itself. And
There's
so those were
there's
like the
a
first ones I'd done.
there's Ebola Bin Laden right there for all you to see. I actually have one in the store. I bought one in a collection. How much did they sell for originally?
I think I was selling for like $13.
Wow, I put it at 25. So
Yep, that's good.
sold out edition, man.
Awesome.
All right. So I have to get this Boba Fett now. So you did an Ebola Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Wow, missed out. We'll talk later.
Okay.
And so what is your background, before this? Like what were you doing? So I get how you discovered it, but what in your personal life would possess you to stoop so low to want to make toys?
Well, I've kind of collected toys over time here and there. I've bought things and then turn around and sell everything and then buy again and things like that, especially Star Wars toys. And
Mhm.
yeah, so as a kid, I was really into Star Wars, GI Joes, and Micronauts. So yeah.
So it was just a toy thing? Like, I mean, do you do any other kind of art? Did you go to art school?
No, no. Okay, so I guess my only the time I've been into anything artistic is I've done photography at one time.
Mm.
I went to college for computer science, and while I was there, I worked for a department that helped instructors make materials for courses, and we also had a photo studio. And so I worked in the photo studio doing computer graphics, and also just actually taking photos of things for instructors. And I befriended one of the photography teachers there at the university, and it ended up living with him and his wife in the last year of his life. He had passed away while I was living with him, and he was an American photographer. He's known as American photographer. His name was Arnold Doran.
Mhm.
And so I had exposure to art through those people and through those experiences.
Wow. And so, but that's like when you were studying in school, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then you went on into like your life, and do you have a day job?
I basically deal with computers and things like that.
Got it.
A techie stuff.
So you have a techie job.
Yeah.
And then one day you discover these people who are expressing themselves artistically in action figure form, and you just decide like, I'm going to do that.
Yes. Yes. I loved it.
And
I started out as a collector, and I had to do it for myself.
and then here you are with your head floating in front of me.
Right.
Wow. That's kind of magical.
Yeah.
That is I would say a very different story than most, right?
Right. Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because most everybody I meet, they've got some kind of artistic, even if it's like music background or whatever,
Sure.
that they've done all
And
their life. Not for me.
then so all of this kit bashing and I mean, is there some sculpting on here and the graphic design and all of it? Like,
Yes.
you
Yeah, I did some sculpting on that one.
did you design that logo?
Yes,
And you never went to school?
correct.
Not for that, I mean.
Right.
That's kind of crazy. You make a very good case for what a waste of time school is. I don't know. I kind of feel like some people need school for, um, the discipline to actually sit there, have someone look after you and like force you to do it. What's it say? What Brad say? Thank you for reminding me of Friday nights watching Gouliard in Cleveland. Goulardi? What does that mean? I have no idea. You have out referenced me. Um, you know, so some people need that structure, and some people um, can just teach themselves. And I don't think people like tell you that. I think that the society always says like go to college, and then if you don't go to college, like not everyone needs to go to college. Like I don't know if I needed to go to college. Like I always just felt like got a degree in bitterness. Like you know, I
That's the
I,
kind
I
of
felt
way.
like I felt like the purpose of going to college was to make sure that I didn't regret not going to college, and that having gone to college, realized that I didn't need to go, but that I prevented regret because the other friends I have that didn't go to college were just smart people who just, can do what you did. Just go learn how to do something, go do it, and go do it well. And then what's going on?
I can't. You're having this serious conversation with a floating head.
Yes, indeed. I'm trying to I'm trying not to make eye contact. Actually. So Dana asked if I regret going to college. Well, it's just the people that I know that didn't go to college think that everyone has something on them, and it's actually not true, right? It's just you just got to think of like, I mean, you go and you get a piece of paper and it says you did it, and I guess it depends what you're studying. If you want to be an accountant, yeah, if you're going to learn computers, yeah, I mean, they give you something practical that you can do in the world. Dane says, "Be nice to the head. The head is all knowing and wise." Inappropriately punctuated. Man. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I agree. In retrospect, I think college really all it gave me was the ability to find in myself to be able to focus. And I think
mhm,
in doing the figures, it helped me. Okay, I wanted to do that. I really wanted to do that. So it's
mhm.
like those skills I learned in college and all those experiences along the way helped me to be able to be driven and to say, here, go seek out this information and learn these products like the resin and the silicone and like how they work and how they don't work,
Mhm.
and in order to make something that looks really good or to have something that has like a rough aesthetic or whatever. I think that has helped me all along. But I also believe that not everyone needs to go to college. Some people, they can just find a passion and run with it. They don't necessarily have to be taught by someone else. They can teach themselves. But it's whatever it comes down to
It's
the individual.
true. I agree with you. I do think there are some things in some fields that you have to be taught,
Right.
that just
Like being a doctor.
no. Oh yeah, sure. But I mean, I'm just saying like no. Um, I remember, as a kid, I knew this I don't know why this was okay, but I was like 13 and me and a buddy would go hang out with this baseball card dealer, and we'd get in a car with him and he would take us places. And it sounds like I would never let my kids like he would take us to conventions. We did business, we're making money, like, and my mom was like, "Hey, where'd you go?" It's like, "Oh, I was with Jimmy, like, at his office." But Jimmy was also a pool player, right? And I watched Jimmy play pool once. And what I learned from Jimmy, and I'm not a good pool player, is that you can have a pool table and a pool cue and all the pool balls, and you can have all the time in the world. And there's just some skills at pool that you have to be taught. And no amount of random playing will teach you. I mean, unless you're like a complete, like, crazy physicist, about what he showed me that day, and putting the English on the ball and where you hit the ball and trying to get it's like, for you to figure that out randomly on your own, you'd have to play for, 50 years. Jimmy is a good teacher. Thank you, Dane. Now you be quiet now. Go. So, I mean, there's something to that, but the stuff that you have to be told, but it just, I don't know. It's just meeting more and more people that went to school and are frustrated, and especially with the debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it seems like, you coming from a computer background, that you kind of like had this very logical kind of attack plan. You're like, I'm going to learn how to do the resin. I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn how to this, and the properties of this and the properties of this, and this is how I accomplish my goal.
Right.
And that's like the execution part, and that part is hard, and that is a craft, and there's skill there. But then there's the creative part, like the conceptual work that you do, right? And that, I guess my point is that you can't teach somebody, right? You
Right.
can teach someone how to pour resin. You can teach them how to make, some good choices, or a color palette, or have some design sense maybe. But how do you teach concept? Like, that's, I don't know. Well, congratulations. You did a good job.
I would say I picked up a lot just from looking at art trends, looking at what other artists do, but also, like, in this bootleg and designer toy scene, just looking at what other people do and getting a feel for what is it that people are really interested in, and and how does that fit into what I'm interested in, and then go from there.
Right. I think some of my your work that is my favorite, that no one else in the scene has really done, is making play sets.
Mm.
And I think that more than anything, when I kind of lost my mind when, because you made two play sets, right? That one was like the disco,
Right.
and which was the
The
other one?
office. The Galactic Office.
The Galactic Office, right? And and you made the box, and you had the fold outs inside, and it came and had the mail away figures. And I just thought, like, conceptually, that really, that was like a home run for me. And there was nothing that's like I mean, there's a concept. So here's an interesting idea. Like, I'm sure a lot of people could have that concept, but actually pulling that off, making a box structurally, printing on it, and doing all of that, I can tell most people who ask me, I want to make a card, okay, print it out on 2 pieces of paper, glue it to a substrate, cut it out, right? Or go call this guy, he can print them for you. Or you want to make a lot, go to this printer, they'll print you 250 of them for a couple $100. Like, making a box, that's it seems like that should be easy, but that seems like a lot of hard work.
It was. But, I had great guidelines. I mean, that was all based on the cardboard Bespin playset. So I just took a look at that, and that's what I ran with. And it was kind of for the box, all the artwork was built around the boxes that I had available to me.
Sure. So you put the art on a pre-existing box?
Yes. Yep. I found a box that fit for the playset that I had made. Here again, it's almost like the blister issue, you know, where you make the piece and you're like, oh crap, now I got to find a blister to put it in. You know, it was the same thing with the box. Like I got lucky and found a ready-made box that
Nice.
I could put that the playset would fit in. And so then I just made the graphics to fit that box that was available to me.
That is always my number one advice to resin toy makers is
Yeah.
get the blister first.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times people have called me. It's like, hey, I made this figure. Do you have a blister? I'm like, no. And they've either like had to start from scratch or Dan Goodsell says a good art school should teach critical thinking. That is the main thing I took from art school. That and a serious art history education. Sure, but you have to. I mean, all schools should teach critical thinking. I mean, this is what the world is suffering from right now is a lack of critical thinking. Like you can try and teach critical thinking, but we can't all be Dan Goodsells. Sad. So what's next? Like, are you happy with your day job and your computer job and
Not
doing
really.
this on the side?
Not really. I would like to
No.
do this all the time.
Yeah, just
I mean,
nonstop.
who
Just
wouldn't?
I don't know. I have this conversation with everybody. Who wouldn't? I don't know. And sometimes, it's like the thing that my mom said to me when I was, still living at home. She said, "You turn all of your hobbies into businesses." And then she said, "So what do you do for fun?" I was like, yeah, I don't know. When I'm so tired and I sit on the couch and do nothing, be a vegetable. That's my fun. Eat. Thanks, Ian. Stop giving away all my secrets. Yes, just yeah. So that's the goal, huh? Just
Yeah.
Figure Fetish is just gonna explode. Oh, Ian has to, of course, apologize. So, but I guess see what I was talking to Dustin Benzing before this in the previous email was about, he's got a day job and the day job pays the bills and it kind of gave him the freedom to develop. Whereas when you have that pressure to make a certain amount of money to pay that, that monthly nut, sometimes you have less freedom to experiment. And you have to, I've seen the Sucklord many times. I mean, he's a guy living in New York by choice, and he realizes this, but he's paying 2 rents. He's got a studio and he's got an apartment in New York. And he could go have a comfortable life living just about anywhere else, in any other state or any other city than where he's at. And sometimes it gets to the point where it's like, and sometimes it's a good thing. Like I need to make money, so I'm going to start producing something, and it kind of forces him to, it's like I got to work. I got to make 50 figures in the next 2 or 3 days and put them up for sale. I got to pay my rent, and that has value. But also when you're trying to like develop, it's kind of nice knowing that like the bills are paid, and I don't know. I guess it depends.
You don't
But
have
you're
to
kind
force
of,
an idea.
yeah. Everybody's different. Like some people need that. I don't know. I find myself like generally too risk averse and like really sort of like analyzing and making sure that I'm super comfortable with what I'm going to do before I take that jump. As opposed to like, I don't know if you caught the Edwin Salas interview this morning, which is crazy. Like he's living in Mexico and he's 11 years old, and this woman shows up looking for a puppeteer, and he lies to her, and he says that um, that he'll go tell the puppeteer, right? Is that how it went? Who's going to go tell, right? And instead, he shows up at the party with all the puppets that he made at age 11 to entertain at the party.
Wow.
And the woman says to him, "Where's the puppeteer?" And he says, "I'm sorry, he was so busy he couldn't make it today." And he says, "Do you want me to do it?" And then he does the puppet show. And then another mom comes up to him, and he was talking about like which side he lived on, one side of the river, and then like the wealthier people lived on the other side, and he had to take the bus to the other side. And then another mom came up to him and said, "That puppet show was amazing. I want you to do it for my kid's party. Do you have a business card?" And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm all out of business cards. I gave it away at my last party." He'd never done a party before, just the cojones. Like, and some people just have that. I would never do that. I would be like shitting in my pants, like that I would be caught as a fraud. And he said by the age 13, he was doing puppet shows for 500 people at like schools. And what the hell? Like, anyway, so it's kind of crazy, I think, what you have accomplished just by, I mean, I couldn't have done that. Like, just put your mind to something and say, I'm going to go do this, and just attack it in that way. I always feel my life is always so like overwrought with like fear and self-doubt. So congratulations and good job.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
For all of you out there still having second thoughts. So if he wanted to make 20 of these, and if he wanted to make 20, we would have been sold out already, but I pushed him to make 40 because I knew that over time we were going to sell them. And I don't know, just kind of tickled me. I think it's fantastic.
I know you love Jar Jar, so anything Jar Jar, right?
Freaking hate Jar Jar.
They all those characters, they have their place.
I
love them, right? They have their place.
But I think I love Jar Jar because I hate him. I love hating him. How's that?
Sure, I'll take it.
It's like if I was gonna have a party and I had to choose a piñata, it would be Jar Jar. Like, give me Chewbacca? No, I don't want to hurt Chewbacca. Jar Jar. Bam.
I think everybody would take joy in that.
Anyway, dude, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Here.
Really appreciate your time. Great figure. Congratulations. And we will talk to you soon.
I appreciate you doing this too. I just take a moment to say it's like, one of the highlights of my past few years is time for going to 5 Points Fest and Designer Con is getting up with everybody. And given this year's been a total shit show, it's like this is really nice being able to still interact with everyone. So
that's after DCon is my favorite time of year, and we're not going to get to have that. So at least getting to connect with people this way, and then the fact that remember you asked me during San Diego, you said, I missed some of the interviews. Are we recording this? And I was like, nah, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. And and to Janky's credit,
that's awesome.
Janky recorded all of them, most of them. Some of them went bad, but and then we posted them, and then people keep watching them, and then they keep telling me like, hey, dude, I watched all the interviews that you have on YouTube, and I'm like, don't you have a life? Like, what's going on? But and so it's nice to just kind of like document it and say hello to everyone and put a face to a name, because it's like we're all dealing online. So and especially when you have a face like this floating in the universe. All right, dude. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
See ya.
Wow.